Hello, we are live. All right, Brandon here, your chief business strategist and digital plumber, here with you with another compelling presentation of the three biggest mistakes small business owners make and how to overcome them. So, without further ado, I told you I was going live tonight. Uh, let's get it going. All right. Sharing the screen here. Let's change this so you can actually see it. There we go. And we'll get myself out of the way there as much as possible. So again, look, I'm going to harp on this because every day I see the advertisements of small business owners either on TV, print, radio, social media, and they all stink. And they all fall within the three biggest mistakes that they make. So I'm going to teach you what they're doing wrong and what you need to be doing to do it right. And that way you can outmarket the competition and conquer the local market because that is my goal for you. Okay. So today, again, we're going to be breaking down the three biggest lead generation mistakes small business owners make. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to fix them so your business can start generating predictable, consistent leads. So, real quick, put all distractions away. I have a lot of information to cover in a short amount of time, and you will be wanting to pay close attention. These 45 minutes are going to go by super fast. Okay. Don't worry about taking notes. You have the opportunity to get this presentation along with my speaker notes at the end of the webinar. So, again, if you're writing something down, you might miss something that I say because I talk kind of fast. So, again, you'll get a chance to get this presentation at the end of the show. Ask any questions that you have. Put them in the comments below. I will review the comments after the show and respond accordingly. So if you have any questions during this presentation, please do not hesitate to ask at all. All right. And there you go. So a little bit about me. Who am I? Who is Brandon? I'm a husband and father of two. I'm obsessed with sales and the psychology of selling and how people make buying decisions. I actually have a biochemistry degree. I know nothing to do with marketing, but it gives me a little bit of an advantage when it comes to the scientific process of figuring everything out when it comes to marketing and how people buy. But it was a but what got me into this whole realm and sphere was a late night infomercial that sent me down a 12-year rabbit hole studying what makes businesses grow. Everything I'm sharing with you today comes from helping real businesses get unstuck. So, if you've been looking for a simple, proven, step by step method to generate more leads for your business, this presentation is exactly what you need. So, pay attention to every word It will completely change about how you think about marketing and how you market your business. But first, I want you to stop and think about the ads that you've seen over the past week. How many can you name off? Because researchers estimate that over the past 7 days, you've been exposed to as many as 117,000 ads based on national averages. And last week was Thanksgiving and Black Friday. So I'm sure that number is probably 1.5 to 2 times as many now. So, but out of those ads, how many can you name? I mean, if you're fairly attentive, you may be able to come up with 3 or 4 specific ads. But I'll bet that's because you've seen them over and over again, week in and week out. So let's not ignore the key fact of advertising that repetition works. And when you see any advertisements multiple times every day, you're bound to eventually begin to recall the ad. But now answer this question. Of the few ads you do remember, how many of the products or services have you purchased recently? How many of you remember this ad? Go ahead and drop it in the comments. All right. I'll admit, I personally love the E-Trade baby commercials. They were funny, they were clever, they stood out. It was cool seeing a baby talk like an adult. And now with AI, you can recreate the same thing yourself at home. And honestly, if one of those old commercials came on while I was in the other room, I'd stop what I was doing and actually go watch it. That's how entertaining they were. But here's the important part. Okay. And I'll admit, I do have an E Trade account now, but it took years for me to finally sign up. And when I did, it had nothing to do with the talking baby. It wasn't the commercial that made me choose them over the other half dozen trading platforms. So let me ask you this: what benefit did that commercial offer me as a potential customer? How did a snarky, wisecracking baby help me understand their fees, their tools, their platform reliability, or why were they the better choice than their competitors? I mean, it really didn't. And that's the point. Small businesses can't afford to wait years for a customer to eventually wander in because they like something about the brand. You don't have the luxury of building a decade long, multi million dollar branding campaign just to be memorable. Cute, clever, funny ads don't pay the bills, at least not for small businesses. So, why does E Trade keep making commercials like this? Believe it or not, there is a reason. And by the end of the presentation tonight, you will understand exactly what it is and why it doesn't work for small businesses like yours. Because businesses today are told that all they need to succeed is some kind of attention grabbing marketing. Make a funny ad, go viral, do something loud or clever, and leads will magically pour in. But nothing could be further from the truth. And that's just the marketing piece. Because even if you did manage to grab the attention, there's still the bigger question: how to turn that attention into fast, predictable cash flow. Because every small business needs fast cash. Not someday, not eventually, not after a long branding campaign. You need it now. So, how do you actually make that happen as a small business owner? And beyond that, what about the profits? Because generating more revenue is great, but but if none of it ends up in your pocket at the end of the day, what's the point? So let me ask you this: how would you feel if I could just go ahead and cut through all the hype, strip out the BS, and give you the proven step-by-step roadmap that actually makes your phone ring? A roadmap that pulls qualified prospects straight to your website and finally shows you how to market your business in a way that works every single time. Well, that's exactly what I'm going to do for you during this presentation. I'm going to reveal to you the 3 biggest lead generation mistakes small business owners make and how you can overcome them all. So, here we go. Mistake number 1: they fail to get professional help. Mistake number 2: they don't know the fundamentals required to successfully market their business and attract as many new clients as their business can handle. Mistake number 3: they have no idea how to use their marketing to generate immediate cash flow. So let's go ahead and explore these 3 in depth and show you how you can easily and systematically overcome them all. Mistake number 1: small business owners are failing to get professional help. And let me put that into perspective for you. Can you imagine a single professional athlete who doesn't have a coach? You can't, because they don't exist. Tiger Wood had 9 coaches: one for a swing, one for a short game, one for strength, and one for conditioning, even advisors for his financial and mindset problems. So, if the greatest performers in the world need guidance to stay sharp, stay competitive, and stay profitable, do small business owners think they really can get by without any help at all? And that's the biggest mistake. They're trying to do everything alone. So, you remember back to that TV ad we talked about earlier? That ad was created by a so called professional. But here's the truth that most people don't realize: a lot of those professionals have no idea what they're actually doing. They're following the same old, outdated playbook, using the same tired tricks, and repeating the same mistakes over and over. Everything they're doing in the modern marketing world is wrong. And I'm not asking you to take my word for it. I'm going to prove it to you right now. If you're currently using any kind of marketing, whether it's a print ad, a brochure, a postcard, flyer, or heck, even your website, I want you to pull it up or grab it and look at it closely if it's next to you. If it's not, don't worry about it, because what we're going to do here is a little self demonstration. So go ahead and grab a sheet of paper, and I want you to sketch out what you think an effective ad for your business would look like. Nothing fancy, doesn't have to be designed well, just a simple outline where your headline would go, where your image would be, what the main message is, and so on. And so go ahead, do it right now. I'll give you about 30 seconds. All right, so you got it. Now that you have your current ad or rough mock up sitting in front of you, let me provide you with a little known secret that produces more leads than your business can handle. But first, here's something that people again don't realize: that 99% of marketing professionals have no idea about lead generation secrets I'm about to show you. They've never been taught it. They don't use it, and that's exactly why their campaigns fall flat. But once you understand these principles, once you see how they actually work, you will immediately step into the top 1% of lead generation professionals in the world today. And the next slide will make it crystal clear, and it will show you exactly why every small business owner needs a proven step by step roadmap before they try to market anything. So here's what a real marketing professional understands and what they help you implement. It's called the conversion equation, and it's the backbone behind every successful lead generation system. When you apply this equation the right way, you stop competing on price forever. Instead, you start selling your product or service for what it's actually worth. The simple framework can increase your advertising response by 10 to 100 times, bring in more qualified leads, and convert a higher percentage of them into paying customers. So you're going to get more leads, more sales, and more revenue, and a much bigger return on every marketing dollar you spend. Bottom line, you'll create a profit faucet, one that you control completely. Turn it up when you want more business, turn it down when you're at capacity. That's the power of the conversion equation. But before we get into the conversion equation, you first need to understand what marketing is actually supposed to do. Most people get this completely wrong. Marketing has three specific jobs. And the first job is to capture the attention of your target market. If you fail here, nothing else matters. Attention is the gateway to everything that follows. The second job of marketing is to give your prospects hope. Hope that if they keep reading or listening, they'll get more information and be able to make a smart buying decision. Your marketing should teach them how to recognize real value and help them conclude that you and only you offer the best value in your category. The third job is to lower the risk of taking the next step. Your prospects should feel safe, confident, and informed. And if needed, your marketing should continue to educate them so the value becomes undeniable. When your marketing accomplishes these three objectives, something powerful happens. Your prospects come to one single unavoidable conclusion: they would have to be an absolute fool to do business with anyone else but you. regardless of price. But here's a fun fact for you. It's estimated that up to 96% of small businesses fail within their first 5 years. And, I can attest to that because in my local town here, a dog grooming shop that's only been open maybe 3 years just closed the doors. And the biggest reason for that massive failure rate comes down to one thing: they don't know how to generate leads consistently or make the phone ring on demand. Most small business owners have never been taught the three core jobs marketing is supposed to accomplish. They don't know how to capture attention, they don't know how to create hope, and they don't know how to lower the risk and educate prospects in a way that builds trust. But there's another problem layered on top of that, one most business owners never even consider. Most businesses use a tactical marketing approach instead of a strategic approach. They do this by running an ad in a local newspaper, sending out email or direct mail piece, putting a spot on the radio or TV. Those are all tactical marketing activities. And don't get me wrong, newspapers, radio, TV, direct mail, and social media can be incredibly effective channels if your marketing message is powerful and compelling. But that's exactly where the real problem lies. Because the message, the strategy behind the ad, is the strategic side of marketing, and ironically, it's the part most businesses neglect entirely. This distinction between strategic marketing and tactical marketing is massive, okay? And you need to be crystal clear about any time you think about generating more leads. Most companies assume that lead generation automatically means tactical activities, placing ads, sending mailers, joining a networking group, setting up booths at trade shows, building follow up systems, and so on. But they fail to realize that the strategic side of the marketing is important. It's what you say and how you say it is always more important than the marketing medium where you deliver that message. If you don't make this distinction, you end up blaming the wrong thing. You get jaded towards certain marketing channels that should be part of your tactical plan, but you eliminate them from consideration simply because they didn't work for you in the past. And the truth is, they didn't work because the message was wrong, not because the channel was. And when lead generation results fall flat, small business owners almost always blame the marketing medium. It must have been the newspaper. Postcards didn't work. The platform was the problem. They look at the tactical part of the plan and completely ignore the strength or weaknesses of the strategic message inside that marketing piece. So you hear things like, we tried online funnels and they don't work for our kind of business. Or we mailed 50,000 postcards and only got 3 orders. Direct mail just doesn't work. But here's the reality: just because it didn't work doesn't mean it won't work. Most of the time, the channel isn't broken, the message is. So, most business owners don't have the evaluation skills or the know how to judge whether poor marketing results from poor strategy or poor tactical execution. And this is where our step by step roadmap can generate more leads for your business than your business can handle. For example, most small business owners rely heavily on platitudes in their marketing. They say things like, we have the lowest prices. We're family or veteran owned and operated. We have the best value. We offer the best service. We offer convenient hours. I mean, look at your own marketing that you did earlier. How many of these platitudes did you use in your own marketing? I mean, I'm just sick to my stomach reading them myself. Most business owners have been trained and almost conditioned to believe that this is the right way to market. Why? Because this is the exact formula that majority of advertising out there. Every Fortune 500 companies do the same thing. But here's the problem: as human beings, we're all after the same thing when we're ready to buy the best deal. And when your marketing is loaded with platitudes and empty jargon, there's no way for anyone to tell who's actually offering the best deal. Everyone claims to have the lowest prices, the highest quality, the best service, the best rates. So who do you believe? There's only one way to know, and you got to do it by researching every single business that sells what you're looking for. But how many people have the time or patience to do that? Almost none. So what happens? People assume every business is basically the same. And because they can't see any meaningful difference, they default to the one thing they can compare: the lowest price. And that's exactly how businesses get trapped in a destructive price competition. The conversion equation will change all of that for you forever. It's going to be the backbone of your strategic marketing plan. It is the foundation on which everything else we build for you is based. So let me give you a quick overview and then spend some time going through it in detail. The conversion equation has four main components. First, we must interrupt your prospect. We must get your qualified prospect to pay attention to your lead generation marketing. Simple enough to say, but a lot more difficult to pull off in real life, unless you understand what you're about to learn. The interrupt is done through your headline if your marketing is in print, or it is the first thing you say if your marketing is through radio or TV. Once your prospect is interrupted, it's critical to give your reader the promise that information is forthcoming and will help the prospect make the best buying decision possible. In other words, it must facilitate their decision to pick you over anyone else. This is the job of the subheadline. Again, the interrupt is the headline that highlights a specific problem that your prospects are looking for a solution to, and the engage is the subheadline that promises that you offer the best solution to the problem that was mentioned in the headline. And the third component that needs to be included is to educate. So once you've interrupted and engaged your prospect, you have to give them the information that allows them to logically understand how and why you solved the problem they're facing. This is accomplished by giving them detailed and quantifiable, specific, and revealing information. It's typically done in the body copy of your ad. When you educate, you need to reveal to your prospects the important and relevant information they need to know when making a good decision, and that your business and your business alone provides it to them. The interrupt and engage hit the prospect's emotional hot buttons. The educate is the logic they need to justify picking up the phone and calling you or pulling out their credit card to make the purchase. The fourth and final component of the conversion equation is your offer. Because now that you've interrupted your prospect based on the problems that are important to them, engage them by a promise of a solution, and they've examined the educational information that makes your solution real and believable, the last step you need to take is to give them a low risk way to take the next step in your sales process. You do that by offering a free marketing tool, such as a report, a brochure, a seminar, audio, or video, or something that will continue to educate them and follow them around. Your offer will allow your prospect to feel in control of the final decision to call and buy from you. So, to quickly recap, the conversion equation is interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. And together, they equal market domination. So, here's the problem most marketing today only contains two of these components. They interrupt by throwing something at you that's either familiar, like Taylor Swift, or an unusual giant inflatable gorilla, or talking pets. And sometimes they like to use both, as in the case of the E-Trade baby. And so once they grab your attention, they make you some type of offer, such as call now or whatever. They left out the engage and educate, and marketing seldom succeeds when that happens. In fact, the only time this type of marketing does succeed is when you can afford to run the ad over and over nonstop for an extended period of time. So how many of you guys can recall these ads here? Plop plop, fizz fizz, right? It's Alka-Seltzer. Melt in your mouth, not in your hand. M&Ms. And M's. And things go better with Coke have literally been rammed down our throats by the Fortune 500 types for decades. And after hearing these slogans thousands of times, of course, we're going to remember them. But how can small business owners like you, that doesn't have a $1 billion marketing budget, successfully market your business? Well, I hate to break it to you, but the answer is you can't unless you follow the entire conversion equation. And here's a simple example that proves this to you. What I have for you is a couple classic case studies that implemented the conversion equation and saw great results. The first one I have for you here is a moving company that was struggling to get leads. Years ago, this moving company was on the verge of bankruptcy. They were paying $3,000 a month for a full page ad in their yellow page directory. They were averaging about 70 calls a month, and their conversion ratio was only 16%. So out of 70 calls every month, they were only getting 11 moving jobs. So no wonder they were starving. The reason their ad wasn't working was their failure to follow the conversion equation. They didn't even have an offer to call for a free quote. I mean, look at the ad. They had no interrupt at the top of their ad whatsoever, just the name of the company. And they listed all the generic Me Too services and platitudes that every one of their competitors also listed in their ads. So again, look at your own marketing that I asked you about earlier. Does your marketing format look exactly the same as the one moving company as this moving company was using? Did you place the name of your business at the top, list your products or services in the middle, along with a layer of worthlessness and meaningless platitudes such as lowest prices, highest quality, and best rates? If you want your phone to start ringing, then you must follow the conversion equation of interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. After connecting with a consultant who knew a thing or two about copywriting and the conversion equation, this moving company redesigned their lead generation ad, and here were the results. First, they identified the biggest problem their customers had when moving, and without hesitation, it was damage. 72% of all moves resulted in something being damaged. That's the area that needed to be focused on, and they needed to create what was called a market dominating position around that hot button issue. But why is damage such an important issue? I mean, since all moving companies listed in the yellow pages say they're fully insured. Well, it turns out movers must be fully insured, but that the problem is the general public has no idea what fully insured really means. When you hear someone say they're fully insured, don't you automatically assume that they mean that if they break your $5,000 HTV TV, they will reimburse you $5,000? Well, I mean, I certainly would. Well, it turns out that in the moving business, that isn't what fully insured really means at all. Legally, a moving company can claim they're fully insured their belongings based on a per pound of damage. And the national average is 40 cents per pound. So, in other words, if a mover destroys your $5,000 100-pound HD TV, they're only legally obligated to pay you $40. So, unfortunately, the poor, unsuspecting customer doesn't find that out until after the damage has taken place and they receive their minuscule reimbursement. But for this specific moving company, this policy was never an issue because they didn't believe in this deceptive industry practice. They actually provided their customers with what's known as full replacement value insurance, so that if they break your $5,000 TV, you're reimbursed $5,000, no questions asked. But how can they afford this much more expensive insurance? Well, it was due to their extraordinary three-step packing process that only their company offered. And thanks to this process, their actual breakage and damage totals were below 3%. And what little damage did occur typically involved a broken dish or a plate, relatively minor items that had little to no replacement cost, and certainly no sentimental value that would create emotional situation with the customers. And their unique packing process allowed them to carry a $5,000 insurance deductible, and their premiums for the superior insurance were actually lower than the competition that paid for inferior and deceptive insurance. And so their three-step packing process, coupled with their superior full replacement value insurance coverage, became the market dominating position. And all that was left to do was to position that information in their ad and follow the conversion equation. So they first created a headline at the top of the page that stopped the person looking for movers in their tracks. And this was step number one to address the main hot button that their prospects are looking to solve. In this case, it was damage. So the headline turned into this: last year, more than $4,000 in damage and negligent lawsuits were filed against movie companies by outraged homeowners. Now, do you think that headline grabbed attention of prospective movers? You bet it did. But they didn't stop there. They continued to engage the prospect by promising them a solution that was referenced in the headline. In this case, damage prevention. So, what do you think of this subheadline? Ask any mover these two questions to ensure you won't be victimized or ripped off by deceptive industry practices. So, when the prospect read that subheadline, do you think they wanted to immediately find out what those two questions were? Well, of course they did. So next, they educated them by providing them with the two questions that the prospect can ask any mover that they choose to contact. And those two questions were: do you follow a minimum 3-step packing process for every item you place in your truck? And do you carry full replacement value insurance? And before they ran this new ad, the moving company already knew their competitors' answers to both these questions, and it was a no because they had previously surveyed them all. So this ad educated the prospects on the realities of what actually takes place in the moving industry and highlighted this moving company's market dominating position that makes them the obvious choice to do business with. And if you look at the bottom right corner, their offer was a free moving company comparison checklist that highlights the survey they did, showing the prospect that they were the only moving company in town that offered these desired benefits. This made them the no brainer choice in the moving industry, and the results they generated from this new Yellow Page ad sealed the deal. Instead of averaging just 70 calls per month, the new ad averaged 955 calls per month. And instead of a 16% conversion rate, the rate jumped to 68%. And the new ad generated so many new clients asking for their services, they had to partner with the four other competitors to handle the increased volume. Those four competitors bought the company out 9 months later for $2.3 million. All this from simply implementing the conversion equation in their Yellow Page ad and without spending one extra dime on their advertising. Some may think budget movers got lucky because finding professional help is often frustrating and at times a crapshoot at best. So that's why I wanted to be the one to teach you the conversion equation of interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. The moving company was able to, with their new ad, train their prospects on the relevant and important issues they needed to know when moving. So those prospects knew what to ask for when they sought out the services of a moving company. So now that you know the conversion equation and you can use it when seeking out professional help when you need it for your business, you can do it just like budget movers. Ask the person looking to help you if they know the conversion equation. A true marketing professional will know this equation. If they don't, run away as fast as you can. Oh, and by the way, did you notice the information I just discussed also covertly covered mistakes 2 and 3? Earlier I said the biggest mistake small business owners make involve the fact that they don't know the fundamentals required to successfully market their business and attract as many new clients as their business can handle. Well, now you do know the fundamentals and you can use them to outmarket and outsell your competition. So first, create a market dominating position for your business, then insert that position into your marketing by following the conversion equation to the letter. And the third biggest mistake small business owners make focused on the fact that they have no idea how to generate immediate cash flow. When you follow the conversion equation in every form of marketing, from your business cards to your company website, the financial results are instantaneous and immediate. So let's check out the next example and put a bow on this. We're going to be taking a look at a child psychologist website and how they were able to generate a ridiculous amount of leads. Because this case study involved Dr. John Smith, a child psychologist who specialized in helping parents with out of control kids. And you know the kids I'm talking about, the ones at the store yelling and screaming, throwing a tantrum, and that are completely out of control. These kids range in age from 6-year-olds up to teenagers. Dr. Smith's original website had all the classic mistakes that are typical in a small business today. Well, I mean, he was probably out marketing half of them because he actually had a website, but still wasn't following the conversion equation because he had the name of his practice at the top of his site. And the only thing even resembling what you might call a headline said parenting advice and resources from Dr. John Smith. I mean, do you think that headline appeals to a parent who's dealing with a screaming and out of control kid? Would that headline hit their emotional hot button? Do they really care about anything? Do they really care anything at all right now about advice and resources? Or are his prospects looking for a solution to the problem? Remember, you must always start your marketing with an interrupting headline that focuses on the problem your prospects are experiencing. Then you must have a subheadline that engages the prospect by promising them there's a solution to that problem. The first two conversion equation components were what? Interrupt and engage. Correct. That's the job of the subheadline and the headline, or the headline and subheadline, respectively. Uh, and that applies to every form of marketing, including websites. So, Dr. Smith's website headline, Parenting Advice Resource from Dr. John Smith, does not address the problem the frustrated parents are expecting or experiencing with their child. And to make matters worse, his website has no subheadline whatsoever. So there's no way for him to engage his prospects to keep them interested. In fact, it's doubtful that any prospect visiting his site would stay there for more than a few seconds because research shows that typical prospects visiting a website remain on the site for about 3 to 5 seconds. If during that brief period of time they don't find something that looks like it'll provide them with the solution to their problem, they're gone for good. So the third component of the conversion equation says to educate the prospect. This simply means that you must educate them with what is that makes your prospect or service so much better than your competition. So on a website, this is done with either body copy or, in Dr. Smith's case, a video. So all you gotta do is just make it short and sweet when it's the first point of contact. So you can offer much more information once you have compelled them to want to know more about what you do. And the final component of the conversion equation is the offer. It's a low risk, or better yet, no risk offer that gets the prospect to take a specific action, such as request more information, take a test drive, register for a free 30-day trial, or view an educational presentation or similar offer. And so the key here is to make the offer so compelling that it's literally irresistible to the prospect. In fact, you want them to be thinking to themselves that they would have to be an absolute fool not to take the offer. And Dr. Smith's offer was a white paper titled The Secret for Parents, a special report on how you can learn the secrets of nurturing well behaved children. Here's the problem, though: his prospects don't have well behaved children. They have ones that are screaming and yelling and cursing, that are belligerent, back talking, and completely out of control. Nurturing a well behaved child is not the solution they're looking for. Getting their kid under control right now is what they're looking for. And so, can you see why Dr. Smith's website failed him in every area? This site wasn't building his business. It wasn't helping him generate leads, attract new clients, or generate additional revenue for his practice. It simply didn't follow the conversion equation as it spelled out. So Dr. Smith got the help and changed his website so it did follow the proven step by step roadmap. He placed a headline at the top of the site that said, "Are you sick and tired of the yelling, screaming, and belligerent attitude of your child?" Would you say this headline hit the major hot buttons for virtually every prospective parent that comes to the site? Do you think that the prospects, the moment they read that headline, would immediately think to themselves that they have just come to the right place where they can find the solution to the problem? In other words, did this headline just interrupt Dr. Smith's website visitors? Well, of course it did. So now let's engage those prospects by promising them a solution in the subheadline. It says, now you can discover the secrets to controlling your child instantly, restore peace and quiet in your home. Isn't that what his prospects want and will do almost anything to get? Absolutely. And you see how the headline and subheadline work together to interrupt and engage every single prospect who comes to the site now? And now that they're engaged, the video can spend 1 to 3 minutes educating the prospect about the fact that our good doctor has the solution they so desperately seek. And the offer has been changed so that it's not only more relevant to the prospect, but also compelling, and it's virtually irresistible. Learn the secrets to gaining and maintaining complete control of your child in less than 60 seconds. So, show me one prospective parent visiting the site that won't download that report. Everyone will. And when they do, Dr. Smith captures their contact information so he can continue to keep his prospects informed until they're ready to buy his services. The revised site exploded Dr. Smith's business to unprecedented levels. Now, if you have a website and implement the conversion equation just like Dr. Smith, you too will have a substantially higher engagement and conversion rates. So, to quickly recap, These are the three biggest mistakes that small businesses make. Mistake number one, they fail to get professional help. Mistake number two, they don't know the fundamentals required to successfully market their business and attract as many new clients as their business can handle. And mistake number three, they have no idea how to use their marketing to generate immediate cash flow. Now, here's the conversion equation. Now, here's how the conversion equation can help you systematically overcome all three of these mistakes. The conversion equation contains the fundamental components you need to ensure your business is successful from this point forward. This conversion equation will make your phone ring and position your business as the dominant force in your market. It provides the marketing foundation that will enable you to generate immediate cash flow, and you can use this information as a minimum standard when seeking out professional help for your business. When you can overcome these three biggest lead generation mistakes, you will generate all the leads your business can handle and turn your dreams of owning your business into a reality. So, you want proof? I want you to answer this one question. If I could provide your business with a lead generation system that would create such an outrageous, lopsided advantage in your favor that your most affluent customers would beat a path to your door, buy what you sell without even asking how much it would cost, would you be interested in a 5-minute phone call with me? Because here's what I'm prepared to do for you: provide you with professional help backed by a proven track record, teach you the basic fundamentals that will allow you to market your business successfully and help you attract as many new clients your business as you want. I'm going to help you develop compelling marketing that will generate immediate cash flow for your business. And best of all, uh, I'm going to do all this for you for free, 100% for free. So you just got to give me 5 minutes, and I'll prove to you that everything I've said tonight in this report, or this presentation, is 1000% true. And I promise you won't be disappointed. So to get started today, I want you to go to www.bkxxenterprises.agency/more leads. I want you to opt in to the page. You will get this entire presentation along with the notes. And then on the next page, you will have the opportunity to book a time with me to review your marketing strategy. It'll be a brief 15-minute call. It'll only take about 5 minutes to really go over anything, and you will be able to ask me any questions that you have. So that's it for tonight. I hope this has been informative for you. I promise you it'll only be about 45 minutes, and I've stuck to that promise. So again, I want you to go to bkxxenterprises.agency/more leads. And that's it. Appreciate you watching tonight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And I'm wishing you very much success between now and the end of the year. Here's to your success.